Happy New Year, everybody. I guess, the main statement I'll start with is just, my heart goes out to Chris Smith from UCLA, and now that we're obviously playing them tomorrow, just feel for a guy that the difficulty of this year and what he's meant to the league, and the caliber of player he was and the competitor. It's really sad to see that injury, but he's got a great work ethic and great character, so I'm sure he'll be back real soon. So really upsetting news to see that. And then I'll open it now and leave it for any questions anyone has.
Michelle, go ahead.
Coach, obviously playing UCLA, the conference favorite, right in the box with not having played a game in a month and limited practices, not the ideal scenario in which to kind of start out and be playing them off a layoff.
Well, I think they really have a good identity as a team, UCLA, and they reflect the personality of their head coach, and I've watched UCLA and I've watched Cincinnati, where Coach Cronin was prior, for years, and they have that same intensity about how they play, and a real focus group on rebounding and defending, and so they're going to present a very big challenge. Guys that stand out on film is Campbell, obviously Tiger Campbell, and his the job that he's done with his assist totals and running their team and his durability, and he plays heavy minutes and does a great job really leading that team. And then Vasquez is another guy that when you're watching them, he's just making all kinds of winning plays. He's really emerging as one of the better young players in the league. So they have some very good talent. They're well coached, and they're a storied program. And we haven't played in a while, so the guys are excited to get back out on the floor.
Jordan and then Trevor.
Yeah, sort of feeding off that, Coach. Do you think, obviously everyone knew coming in issues would arise eventually, but do you think now your team maybe has a better understanding, maybe a better appreciation for how it's going to go, and they're more willing to just roll with the punches the rest of the way?
Well, we knew coming in it would be complex, and there would be adversity and very challenging times, and so this was our turn to get a dose of it. The last couple of weeks, and we started out the season completely healthy, and we've only had 2 games where we've been at that where we've had our full team available. So be nice to get to that point where we were that first to start the season in Connecticut, and hopefully we'll get there soon.
Trevor, then Kent.
Bobby, you mentioned that UCLA and USC have 3 of the better rebounders in the conference, and then as teams, they rate pretty high in that metric. Just what are the challenges associated with their personnel and the styles that those teams present?
Yeah, definitely. And, with Hill and Cody Riley, they have, 2 big physical interior players, UCLA does. We're obviously, thinking about USC, after Thursday, but you're right, just the size and their ability to rebound and defend are all things. And we've been focusing on rebounding, and we know it's been an issue in some of our losses. So it's something on the practice floor, the last couple of days that we've been really dialing into, understanding that, we have teams coming in that are focused on that area and are very good at it.
Kent and then Cameron Cox.
Yeah, Bobby, with the NCAA settling that the tournament's going to be in Indianapolis, but looking ahead to that point, are you hopeful, pessimistic, or what do you think the next 2 months are going to look like that college basketball can get to that point?
Well, I think it's going to be more of the same until the vaccine really gets rolled out and is in the greater majority of the population, and you're going to see that the games are postponed, and it's not only in the Pac-12, but it's across the whole landscape of college basketball on a daily basis. There are games that are just you're popping up that you anticipated were going to be played that don't get played, for a variety of reasons related to COVID. So I think it's going to be more of the same. But I do think we're at a point where there's a lot of momentum to keep pushing forward, and it's I think with the NCAA being proactive on announcing that, it even gives you more of a reason to know that there will be an NCAA tournament this year.
Hey, Bobby, hope everything's going well.
Thanks, Cam.
Just how tough has this last month been on you personally, and how tough has it been on the guys? And the football team went through the same thing, similar. I mean, did you and Herm kind of talk about how to navigate that kind of type of time off?
Well, I mean, I think the most that I've done really, we shared some comments, myself and Charlie, on a head coach's call, just talking about our situation up at Cal, and then the last couple of weeks, what we've gone through, just to give our other head coaches here some preparation for what might be in front of them as they start their seasons and get back. But I feel still a great appreciation for the ability to be able to go to work, to practice, to train these guys, to have a chance to compete. And with all the obstacles and the landmines that are out there, we're just I feel fortunate. I have my health and my family does, and there's a lot of people that are in a lot worse shape than I am. So I'm trying to stay positive.
I have Doug Holler next, and then Hode Rubino.
Bobby, first of all, do you expect to have your full staff and full roster for Thursday's game? And also, when you haven't played in 3 weeks and you missed a week of practice, what's a coach's biggest concern going into that next game?
Yep. Well, I'm still not 100% certain on my roster, and I'll be given some more details on that tomorrow. And as far as my staff goes, I'm pretty certain that Coach Berno has been allowed to come back today, which will be great when we hit the practice floor here in a little bit, just to have his presence back in practice. The other part of the question, I think I was focused more on conditioning. I just could tell, Monday and Tuesday that the guys were pretty winded, so we wanted to get a lot of running in, and then we ramped up the live segments of practice yesterday. I didn't want to do as much live on Monday. I wanted to give the guys a chance after a 7-day break to, like I said, just work on that conditioning element. And then today will be more execution oriented and game plan driven for tomorrow.
Hode and then Trevor Booth.
Hey, Bobby, I know you just talked a second ago about the guys maybe being winded and whatnot because of conditioning, which is 100% understandable. But at the same time, do you feel there's a lot of pent-up energy that you may have to channel, especially in that first game against UCLA, and maybe make sure that the emotion doesn't take over the passion when it comes to the play on the floor?
Yeah, I just think I'm a little more concerned. Just again, losing that time is just opportunity to be cohesive, not having the normal amount of reps under your belt that you would have, and so I'm more concerned about that than necessarily than being overexcited to play. I think it's a big game. We're undefeated in the conference, so are they, and they're obviously were projected to be one of the best teams in the league, and we're hopeful that we could get back on track. So those are the kind of things I'm thinking about.
Trevor, you're up.
Bobby, you talked a little bit about Tiger Campbell. Obviously, last year had the knee brace to start the year coming back from the injury. But just looking at this year too, and from a former point guard's perspective, what stands out about how he paces their offense and gets them in position to do things?
Yeah, I mean, he just has got great feel for the game, and got a good understanding of where his players are and his ability to find them. And it's hard to rattle him. I think last year we felt like we needed to try and pressure him, try and get the ball out of his hands, and I thought he was up for that challenge. Really did a good job of running their team, and he's a little bit more offensive minded this year. I think he's looking to score it in his spots, but also again doing a great job of running their team.
We'll go Ben from the LA Times, and then Cam Cox.
Mick Cronin talked a lot yesterday about your ability to spread the floor with shooters and make things difficult. We saw that a lot last year in the game down there. In the games that you haven't gone your way this season, how have teams been able to kind of counteract that and not you guys not have the success you want to doing that?
Yeah, I think our last game was our worst shooting performance of the season. We were 1 for 18 from 3, so and that was a long time ago, so a few weeks ago. But we need to make shots. I think our roster is built with guys that can penetrate, and then guys that could hit the 3. And I think getting a guy like Marcus Bagley back into the lineup is going to help in that regard. So. Certainly we're excited about that.
Just for somebody who hasn't seen you guys this year, just looking at the stats, Remy 27.6% from 3. What do you see there, and what does he need to do to get going there?
I think Remy's been focused on getting his teammates involved. Hasn't been quite as aggressive as I want him to be, and we talked about that, and I think that he'll make those adjustments. It's a small sample size too. We've only played 7 games, so I think those numbers will balance themselves out over time.
Hey, Bobby, how did you pass the time when you're not playing and you can't practice? Just how did you personally get through this month?
Well, I mean, just watched a lot of film, kind of watched our games that we've played this year, and did a little more evaluation of what we need to do better. And then just watch a lot of basketball, and it also coincided with with Christmas and the New Year, so spent time with my family and those kinds of things.
After the UTEP game, and I know that was a long time ago, you kind of suggested that there might be lineup changes coming up. Is that still a possibility, or do you still expect to go with the same group for most of the game?
Doug, I'm going to leave you a little. What is it called? A nail biter, or until tomorrow. You'll see changes. I'm almost certain. But I'm not going to go into a lot of detail about that today. But you'll see it real soon, within like 24 hours. You'll hear about it. All right.
I'm gonna have trouble sleeping tonight, Bobby.